Calling you a radical, so thank you to Peter behind the Blue Door Stoop. San Diego Pete smells like spaghetti, must be Ferenghetti. So, the investigative journalism called the Post-Ignorance Army has solved the statue caper in San Diego, and then we're going to do some 9/11 work, some serious 9/11 work. So, poppy fields forever, CIA. That's Copenhagen. So this is important. So thank you to the people of San Diego. I've always known this. I've always believed it. It's been that way since a kid. The most conscious people in the world, San Diegans. So as you know, the statues have been being destroyed all over this country. I mean, so I just talked to them, and thank God me and my grandson got down there. That's probably the last video ever shot at the Presidio with that beautiful Putnam masterpiece, which is my favorite statue in the country. Fuck, every time I look at that, I just marvel at it. Arthur Putnam's Indian, 1904. Scripps commissioned it. Did 5 of them, and of course, Father of the Sierra. Nobody's gone off as far as the Sierra more than Kevin Blanch. Nobody. I remember, God, at the mission, nobody goes off that fucking killer more than I do. Nobody. But I don't believe in tearing down the statues. And so, we found out they did a preemptive move. Thank you. Thank you. Conscious, smart San Diegans. They took them down. They didn't bother telling anybody, which is the proper thing to do. And they moved them into the museum at Balboa. Peter went over there. Thank you, Peter, for doing that hard work. I'm relieved. I am very relieved. Those are important historical fucking pieces of artifacts. And it's kind of like San Onofre. You know, we got to shut down. San Diegans. I know if Gene Stone was still alive, he'd say, wait a minute, Kev. We're up here in San Clemente. We're oranges. And I said, yeah. You know what I mean. Fucking, I include you Lagoonies. Yeah, you two. I mean, thank you to everybody that has worked. And the nuclear waste, same thing. I'm sure it's going to happen, and it's being done. Everybody's still, Gregory Jacko, grandson, should be in jail. They'll move that waste, and they won't tell anybody, which is the proper thing to do, because what the resistance is out of whack. It's out of whack. So let's talk 9/11. Why the mask? Because I want to date these for prosperity. These are historic videos. So, when 9/11 happened, I was working right there. I was a student professor. I was teaching the derivative arbitrage class for Dr. Kyle Madsen, the #1 school of business in the United States. I'd been in New York, blah, blah, blah. I was a derivative arb guy. I was teaching future fund managers in the #1 school of business how to use options to hedge portfolios. I was the guy. That's what I did for a living. Nice. And so, I'm home at my big house, when I had that big house in West Weber, and I see it. You know, I got the news on the TV, and I'm like, oh shit, the first plane. As soon as I saw the first plane, I'm like, because I know planes have crashed into the Empire State Building, you know, on accident, and I'm like, fuck, is that an accident? And I knew we had 14 students in the towers from this school. In the towers. You know, I worked in those towers. My office was there when I worked on Wall Street, and I'm like, oh fuck. Oh fuck. So I better get up to the university. You know, I didn't have to work that day, but I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. And right as I'm getting ready to leave the house, TV's still on, boom, here comes the second one through. Oh, I flew up here, parked right there, come running right up here, got into the school, the secretary right there, she's like, fucking yellow tape all over in there on the fucking labs. I'm like, what the fuck? She's FBI's already in here, seizing hard drives. I'm like, what the fuck? Now, remember, we had lots of Saudi students here. They worked all of the labs. They ran all of the labs here. And so they worked the labs. Lots of Saudi students. By the way, they'd stare a hole through you. And they were in my class, a couple of them. And so, well, I'm like, oh, fuck, we're worried about those 14 students. Now, Brady Howell had been here at this university. I believe he was at Utah State or the University of Utah when he was killed in the Pentagon. Mrs. Wallstrom, who I knew really good around here, she was talk about a pillar of the community. She was on Flight 11 from here, this university. And so, that looks like a third grader painted those. A third grader did paint those, my grandson. So, I'm like, what the fuck? And so, the rumor is the FBI has arrested 5 Saudi students here. And so, there's a woman who their liaison. I'm like, well, let's go talk to her. I couldn't get to her, whatever, but KSL gets up here. You know? KSL right here, standing right there, does an interview with the Saudi student who is their spokesperson. What are you guys going to do? You know, there's going to be retaliation. You know, everybody knew that, you know, the names started to be flying out, who this was, how this was. They were Saudis. He's like, we're going to leave the country. I remember the reporter asked him, well, how are you going to leave the country? There's flights are all grounded. We're leaving the country. They had already known. And they left. There was not a Saudi student on this campus again for 13 years. And so I go to work on it and like, fuck. Remember, I'm still trading in those days. So let's backtrack earlier in the year. So in the trade, remember, I'm a derivative arb fucking guy. You don't think those guys fucking know how to fucking count cards, play. I'm probably the lead trader in the country at the time. I traded more options than any. I used to call the CBOE all the time and say, hey, can you write me this strike, this expiration on this date? Yes, Mr. Blanch. Let me see what we can do. We'll talk to the floor traders. Next day, they were always there 100% of the time. So I was that well known and I was that good at it. And so, #1 school business in the country. Clyde Cooley, the futures trader from freaking University of Chicago, the chemist, the famous, I have the last letter of recommendation he ever wrote. I started trading cattle futures when I was 15 in the cattle pits here in Ogden, Utah. And so, I'm playing blackjack in Wendover. And I will testify to this. You know, to the FBI, I will testify. Put my right hand or my left hand on the Bible or the Quran. I'm very confused at this point. After 20 years of this lie, everybody knew they were Saudis, and we went to Afghanistan for 20 years. So, I'm going crazy about it. But anyway, we're going backwards. We're going backwards a few months earlier. A couple months earlier. I'm in Wendover and playing blackjack at Montego Bay. Now, Richie, who is the coach I'm friends with, who recently just died of leukemia, tragically. Energy Solutions. I'm playing blackjack, and there's some Arabs there. Big, healthy, strong, freaking looking dudes. Intense dudes. I'm trying to talk to them, whatever, and very unfriendly. And, you know, they started being pricks to the blackjack dealer, which I knew her. You know, I'm like, fuck you fuckers, need to calm the fuck down. Anyway, they got into it with me. I'm standing right there. There should be video surveillance. I'm sure the FBI's seen it. And I'm like, fuck you guys. They're standing right. Go fuck yourselves, you know. You talk to her, who the fuck are you fuckers? And Richie says, you know, these guys have rolled in here and they got fucking wads of, they're fucking losing money every day. They're fucking not good blackjack when they're losing on. They stick out like a sore thumb. What the fuck were these guys? Don't know. But they've been here for weeks. So we know now, San Diego. And I want to say this. Thank you to the 9/11 victims' families who are relentless. When they murdered my father in Nevada, I've been relentless on it. You know, since he was fucking loading in even before when I knew they'd nuked him in Nevada. I'm relentless. I don't forgive, I don't forget. The 9/11 victims are relentless. So, they have thrown down the State Secrets Act. One Saudi suing another Saudi, and the United States State Department has stepped in and thrown down the state, which is unheard of. The United States government is protecting these fuckers to no end, has from the beginning. I will quote Edward Snowden. Now, I talked to Edward Snowden's attorney personally in Park City at the Eccles Theater. My question got up. You know, I was there when he put his camera down. Edward Snowden. I was top surveillance CIA, the top of the top. My mom and dad CIA, my so-called spy who loves me, Lindsay Mills' mom, dad CIA. I got there and I found out there's another top. And I had the top surveillance. I broke into it. What'd you find? Who is it? On 60 Minutes. They're global oligarchs. The Saudi royal family did this. The Saudi royal family are not Arabs. They're related to the Queen. And so I started going crazy about they're Arabs, they're Arabs, they're Arabs. Bush, we're going to trace the money. I'm like, we got him. I'm telling Kyle Madsen right there, we got him, we got him. As soon as I found out and heard rumor they had bought fucking puts, I'm one of the first guys that was forensically looking. I'm like, well, I wonder if they profited from this. I mean, that's what good derivative traders do. We're ahead of the curve. We're thinking forward. Do you think maybe they traded on this? And I told Kyle one day, if they traded on this, they would buy puts on the American Airlines stocks. So I started digging in, and I'm like, whoa, look at this trades. Look at these trades. That's what I did for a living. And Kyle says, Kevin, you are the lead guy. You're the man. You're the greatest expert on fucking derivatives I've ever met. He says, you should contact the FBI, the CIA. And I said, they should contact me, which they did. So Kyle talked to him too. I'm like, they bought puts on the fucking airline stocks, whoever it was. We've got them. It's T+1. There's a paper trade. It's forensic. We have one of the best forensic county fucking schools in the fucking world right there. Then, not now. And we got them dead to rights. So we started working it. Started through circles. It's routing through a bank in the Bank of London in their cousins. We're like, whoa. I'm going crazy. They're Saudis. They're Saudis. They're Saudis. We got them. Then all of a sudden, Bush, and I knew all about Brother Bandar. Now, this is important because Scowcroft, Brent, who I know personally, lived right up there. He was in the plane when 9/11 happened. He's from Ogden, So, we had him dead to rights. I've known this the whole time. For 20 years, I've known this. My daughter called me the other day, and she says, Dad, have you seen this new 9/11 documentary? No. They're in San Diego talking about this one of the royals having the God, I've been talking about that for years. They're really, 20 years later. They were fucking all Saudis. Muhammad Atta was Egyptian. They were in a dorm room at Hamburg, Germany when they cooked this up. Being funded by the Saudi royal family. That's unarguable facts. Bush in on it? Oh, fuck yes. All of them in on it. So when they drove from San Diego, they used the back roads. I know this now, and I always knew this. When I saw pictures, I'm like, oh, I was playing blackjack. I almost got a fight. 2 separate times. I went up there again. They were still there, and I got into it with them again there, and they just stare a hole through you. I'm like, oh, fuck yourself. You gotta know the type of person I was in those days. I didn't take shit from nobody. And, so we got him dead to rights. Then all of a sudden, even Bush said it. We'll track the money. We got him traced down. Nothing. If this doesn't prove you who runs the world, next thing you know, we're going to go to Afghanistan? What the fuck? Poppy Fields, the CIA. I know what happened. Fuck. My fucking uncle's he was a military advisor. He's one of the most decorated fucking men in Air Forces. My dad, the Special Forces guy. I grew up in one of those families. Fuck, I knew what CIA, the drug fucking cartel, the CIA that ran Vietnam. What the fuck are you going to Afghanistan? And then they're going to stage the troops at the Polygon. You fucking crazy? I'm going psycho. You're fucking nuts. We're going to Afghanistan and Iraq? These are Saudis. They're fucking Saudis. They're fucking monarchs. They're royals. They're old world order. We got them. Fucking smoking gun proof. So when they left San Diego, they used all the back roads, including in Wendover, and they stayed. And I will testify to this in a court of fucking law. I will testify. And we got him. Kyle's like, fuck. And unbelievable story that they pulled this off. 20 fucking years? And 9/11's affected every single person on the face of this. It's heartbreaking. The over 3,000 people that died that day make you sick to your stomach. Fuck, we knew in that towers. It happened again. It happened in 94. I was in those towers. There was a contingency plan because they tried to blow it up in 94. Remember with the bombs? They're at Riker Island, sitting there right now in prison. They caught him. So Giuliani, the radios didn't work. I know plenty of firemen and family members that were killed in there. The radios didn't work when they blew the towers. And if you don't think, you think that they just, you see Building 7, you think that just clamped down, you're full of shit. Now, were the buildings already wired by New York City, you know, because of fire leaping from fire, fuck thing? My guess, yeah, but, you know, the fuel that fucking melted, I don't buy that shit one fuck thing. I mean, and the firemen were in that building. Their radios didn't work. I mean, they're saying, get the fuck out, get the fuck out. Their radios didn't work because of Giuliani. That fucking creep. I always knew he was a fucking creep. I mean, we can dig into how wet went, but the bottom line, they were Saudis and the Soros family funded. And the 9/11 victims' families, thank you so much. Thank you for defending your family members. Thank you. I mean, I fought my father's legacy. Thrown in a cage in a Nevada test site and nuked to death. I'm not giving up on it, ever. Never will I give up. So, we go to Afghanistan to kill the Taliban. There is absolutely no proof. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they pop up this name, Osama bin Laden. I'm like, fuck you. Bin Laden had nothing to do with fucking 9/11, which he didn't. Bin Laden had zero to do. Then we get all caught up in Taliban. This new word comes out, Taliban. For 20 years, they're all of a sudden the boogeyman. I call it designer Taliban. Fucking please. You know, we hung Saddam Hussein so hard that we ripped his head off after the United States CIA created him. Fuck, Saddam Hussein never did anything to one fucking American ever. We created him. No Iraqi, where the Tigers are. And think about the implications of the death. Every single soldier that's fucking died over there. How about the Afghans? The hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Iraqi and Afghans. If you've seen the collateral damage video and it doesn't take your fucking sense. Well, the only person with a soul and a heart who's really an activist is Chelsea Manning. Thank you, Bradley, Chelsea. Really, thank you. You're the greatest in my mind. You know, not Julian Assange, surely not Glenn Greenwald. I asked Greenwald on the university, where's the chip? Snowden's chip. He handed you, all this is on the chip. He's never put any. He's a fraud. Just like Laura, the MIT Media Endowment. Aaron Swartz, I knew personally. I mean, thank you, Chelsea Manning. You see what these fucking soldiers did? I sat with a lot of them, trying to talk them off the cliff. How can you talk people off the cliff? The bulldozing people didn't try. Take no prisoners, Bremer said, and they didn't. These people were trying to surrender, and they murdered them. Women, children, just... Then they come home, they had these young fucking Marines so fucking gung-ho, Fox News wound up, out of them, feeding them fucking, who knows what they were feeding them. They weren't sleeping for days. I mean, unbelievable, the death for 20 fucking years. Not to mention the financial looting from hell, the war, the military industrialized complex. Here, the fucking lightnings, everything that's grown up to be has fucking impoverished this country and fucking annihilated. It's all based on a fucking lie. They were fucking Saudis. They were Saudis. Muhammad Atta, fucking the professor at the University of Hamburg, which is a very elite school like this one. Muhammad Atta was the most brilliant fucking student. He says he left, and apparently he got divorced. His wife left him, and in that so-called Arab culture, well, whatever that he was Egyptian. He says when that happened, he came back. He was a whole different fucking dude. He'd stare a hole through. You know, was Muhammad Atta a puppet? Was he the mastermind? No. The Saudi royal family was the mastermind. And their racehorses, Bob Baffert can kiss my fucking ass. You know, Kentucky. Churchill Downs kissing their fucking they're not Arabs. Kissing their imperialist asses after they did this. Everybody who's got on their knees for the Saudi royal family, including Trump was all over this. That's how he got elected. Trump was like, they were Saudis, they were Saudis, they were Saudis. He used to go over to the Saudi Prince Salman like fucking mad. Then he gets elected and gets right in bed with him. He's over there swinging the sword. These are people that public behead people to this day. Public beheading, stone women to death to this day. I thought the United States was all about fucking, and we're worried about Afghanistan. Fuck, they don't even have a candle. The women protesting there yesterday, fucking the Taliban supposedly, they don't have a candle. They're fucking church mice compared to the Saudi royal family. By the way, the Saudi royal family is launching a new media outlet right now in D.C. Think about that one. Think about the implications of this. This is the greatest lie in human history. They're trying to pass it with 311. You know. And everybody's gone along. Fucking go kill that. They could. I mean, it's so insane. Politicians. Everybody has gone along with these fucking Saudi fucking royal family evil. Well, just show you who runs the fucking world. If 9/11 hasn't proven to you who runs the fucking world. Kyle Madison. He's dead now. Kyle, the great Clyde Cooley had passed away, but Matt Kyle out of nowhere, we got our MBA, #1 school business in the United States. Not now. They're all taken over by the Chinese now. R.C. Willey, fucking Warren Buffett, fucking bottom. Supply chain oligarchy. Get your supply chain slave-made goods in China through the economic development, fucking usury, Utah. Kevin, you're the greatest expert in the fucking I've ever known on options and derivatives. Look at this. I'm like, look at this. Look how tight to the money. Look how many. I mean, it's 1,000,000 to 1 shot they bought. And they made fucking 100,000 to 1 on every dollar. I mean, they bought fucking that fucking Friday's expiration way out of the fucking money. They'll give those options away because they're going to expire worthless. They just fucking bought them. Those 4 traders just, God, some idiot bought these. They had them. And then it comes out 10 years later, too big to jail. The money sure shit, just like Kevin Blanch said, routed right to the fucking London bank, right to the Saudi royal. Now it's come out, what's his name that was cut up and beat to death by the Saudi was talking to the 9/11 victims case. And this is new breaking. The 9/11 victims have fucking been going out. They want the pictures and things of this party in San Diego. The FBI and fucking State Department come out, oh, we can't find them. My dog ate my fucking homework. It's like when I used to teach here at the #1 school. I was a student professor. Well, I'm not a good test taker. Well, you need to move from that building to that building. This is the social science building. You know, maybe you can talk to them. But if you're not a good tester, you're in the wrong place, because that's all we do is take tests around here. And you're not going to have a good experience here. And so I would just move on to something else, or at least take my chances with the test. And I remember I had a young student, and she was like, I said, give yourself a chance. Give yourself a chance. If you listen to this lecture, you're going to do fine on that test, I'm telling you. We don't play I got you around here. They do now. I remember I'm the worst test taker. She was a nervous wreck. She came out class high. I'm like, see how good you are? You know, I am. And so I'll testify to this in a court of law. I will testify to this. This is fact jacks. So from what I understand, there were 5 Saudi students detained here. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but that was rumored on this campus, and 2 at the University of Utah. Now, everybody's different here. Everybody's gone. Went through several presidents, and then the school business, everyone's died, you know, but you still got Kevin Blanch. I'll never forget that. Thank God Baxter was with the students there. He's from there. He worked for Solomon Smith. He was an executive. He got them the hell away from that fucking tower, because they knew. They knew because it happened before, and people were taught. You get away because this tower collapses. And just think about the responders. By the way, I have the phone off the wall that sit there on that fucking thing that was the last phone. If there's photographs up there just hanging there, a phone. It's a yellow phone. I have it. And the FEMA director, who was a part of the cleanup, gave it to me as a gift. because I was such good activist on this. I will never sell it. And I've run it by FEMA. I says, is it legal for me to have this? Absolutely. But I'll put it in a museum. I will never sell it for profit. I will put it in a museum, you know. So 9/11, think about it, all of it, the implications. And I'll say this lastly, because the first person killed here in Utah, in Afghanistan, I'm friends with his mom. She called me one day because I was a famous peace actor. That's how I got the scar across my face. I had a sticker on my car that said, Bush, Cheney lied. These were Saudis, not Afghans. Soldiers, innocent people around the world, Afghans are going to die. And I got jumped because I used to wear my dad's dog tags for years after his death. You know, I wore them about out. That's the only reason I took them out. I thought I was going to lose it because I wore it out. So-called Marine, he claimed he was a Marine, claimed he was a cop, jumped me with brass knuckles because of that sign. I'm like, I'm a Marine, and I'm not a Marine. My dad was. Here's my dog. Well, the other second cop that showed up knew my dad. He says, let me see those. He took it and kissed me. He was a great big islander. I mean, this dude's a beast. Thank you, Kevin. There's people on this campus that still love me. There's people that hate me because the truth's a motherfucker, right? I will testify to the FBI, the CIA, anytime they want to interview me. They were in Wendover, Nevada, and it was them. They were funded by the fucking Saudi royal family. This was orchestrated by the Saudi fucking royal family, which are cousins with the English royal family, which are cousins with Tsar Putin. A fucking commoner, please. 20 years of fucking Putin power. I mean, the imperialists, they're back. So, it's important video. I'm glad I got it up. Stay tuning. It's been a fucking motherfucker trying to know this truth, just like Fukushima 311 and carry it around on your back for 20 years. I've carried Fukushima tale for 10. And try to fucking... when people just... It's sick what this American populace did. It's sick how they were willing to kill fucking and maim fucking innocent men, women, and children in Afghanistan, in Iraq. For what? For what? Something the Saudi royal family did. And again, I cannot say this enough. I've fought for my dad's legacy my whole life, and I've gotten nowhere. To the family of the 9/11 victims who are relentless on suing. And now they're going after Trump. They're going after Obama for lying to them. Biden. They're threatening Biden now for fucking lawsuits. They're not going to show up. They don't want him at the memorial. Thank you for your incredible dedication. You're incredible. That 20 years of just incredible. Oh, it matters. It matters to your family members' legacy. They were fucking Saudis who murdered those people. They were Saudi royal family murder. And you fuckers at the racetracks who fucking have propped these fuckheads up, make me fuck you at Churchill fucking Downs. Bob Baffert, you cheating fuck. You fuckers that have got on your knees for these fucking Saudi royals and their racehorses can fuck off. You know, you make me fucking sick. Bush, what a creep. Cheney, creepiest fuckers, you know, all the fucking Bush fucking crime family. But Obama got elected on peaceful. What a fraud. Who knew that killing people was my best suit, he said. He wasn't joking. Well, I hate that fucking betraying fucker, and I voted for him. Trump, I never voted for that fucker, but he betrayed us the same way. He was on the money on 9/11. He was. I went to law. I used to do videos by that hole in New York year in, year out when it sat naked forever. Now it's the biggest tourist attraction. They turned these dead people fucking bodies jumping out of anything into the biggest tourist attraction in the fucking world now. Makes me fucking, I mean, it makes me fucking physically ill. Thank you to the fucking families. Never give up. Never give up.